We've all been there, right? You look at your to-do list and it just feels impossible, like a huge mountain of tasks. When you're overwhelmed with choices, it's so easy to just freeze up. Well, today, we're going to look at a really simple, kind of elegant idea from computer science that can help us find some clarity in all that complexity.
Just think about it for a second. Maybe it's all your homework assignments piling up, or a bunch of online classes you want to squeeze in, or even just trying to make plans with friends. When everything feels important and you know you can't do it all at once, that one little question, what do I do next, can be surprisingly hard to answer.
So let's try to figure this out using a little framework that computer scientists use. It's called the activity selection problem. I know, it sounds super technical, but the idea at its core is something we deal with every single day, just trying to schedule our time.
Okay, so picture this. You've got a list of all these cool online workshops. Every single one has a start time and an end time. And your goal is pretty simple. You just want to go to as many of them as you possibly can. So, how do you choose? Do you pick the shortest one first, or maybe the one that starts the earliest? It's not super obvious what the best strategy is here.
Well, here's a beautifully simple rule you could try. Out of all the workshops available to you right now, just pick the one that finishes earliest. That's it. It feels kind of right, doesn't it? Let's break down exactly how that would work.
So here's the key idea. By picking the activity that finishes first, you free up your schedule as fast as humanly possible. This strategy basically gives you the maximum amount of time left over for anything else you might want to do. You pick one, you cross out any others that clash with it, and then you just do it again. From whatever is left, you again pick the one that finishes earliest. You just keep repeating that one simple step.
And this is how computer scientists write that simple idea down. Now, I know it might look a little intimidating like code, but just think of it as a really, really precise recipe. It's just a way of telling a computer, step by step, how to use that finish first rule we just talked about. It's the same logic, just written in a language where there's absolutely no confusion.
And this is where we can just take a moment. This whole strategy of picking the earliest finish time, it's not just a good guess. It's actually been proven to be the best possible strategy. It will always give you the maximum number of activities you can attend. But why? Why does such a simple, in-the-moment choice lead to the absolute best overall result?
All right, let's move on and build on that. This really powerful strategy, making what seems like the best choice at each immediate step, it actually has a formal name. And understanding that name helps us see both its incredible power and its limits.
It's called a greedy algorithm. And honestly, the name kind of says it all. At every single step, it just greedily grabs the option that looks best right now, without worrying at all about the future. For our workshop problem, the locally optimal choice, the best one right now, was the one that finished first, and it just so happened that it led to a globally optimal solution, the most workshops possible.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce. It's a concept called the greedy choice property. All this really means is that for certain types of problems, the best immediate choice is always a safe one. And safe here just means that it's a choice that won't mess things up for you down the line. It's a choice that will never stop you from getting to the best possible final outcome. For our workshops, picking the one that finished first was safe because it kept all our options open.
This naturally leads to a bigger question. If this greedy approach is so powerful, can we just use it for everything? Is life really that simple? Just always do what looks best in the moment? Let's sit with that for a second.
As you probably guessed, the answer is no. A greedy approach is an amazing tool, but it only works on very specific kinds of problems. And to really get it, we need to look at a situation where being greedy actually leads you down the wrong path. So let's think about this classic puzzle. It's called the 0-1 knapsack problem. Imagine a thief who wants to steal as much value as possible, but their backpack can only hold a certain amount of weight. And here's the rule. You can't take part of an item. You either take the whole thing or you leave it.
So what would the greedy approach be here? Well, simple. You just grab the most valuable item first, then the next most valuable, and so on, until your bag is full. But here's the problem. What if the most valuable item is also really heavy? Taking it might fill up your entire knapsack, and then you wouldn't be able to take, say, 3 other items that are a little less valuable on their own, but are much lighter, and together would have been worth way more. See? The best immediate choice, the most valuable item, isn't safe anymore.
And that, right there, is the crucial lesson. Unlike our scheduling problem, the knapsack problem forces you to think ahead. Sometimes, you have to make a choice that actually looks worse in the short term, like leaving that super valuable item behind, in order to get a better result in the long run. So where does all this leave us?
Well, the greedy approach clearly isn't some magic bullet for every problem. But it's way more than just a programming trick. It's a mental model. It's a way to recognize a certain type of problem, the kind where making the best immediate choice over and over again really does lead to the best overall outcome.
And, maybe that's the real takeaway for that mountain of tasks we talked about at the beginning. The goal isn't always about finding the one single perfect path to the top. Sometimes it's just about finding the best next step. When you're feeling completely overwhelmed, maybe just ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do right now that will finish the soonest and free me up the most? It might not solve everything at once, but it's a really powerful way to just start moving again. Thanks for spending this time with me.